Even with the recent influx of body positivity over the past decade, there's also been an increase, I would say, in body dysmorphia in the same time frame, specifically for the younger generation, Gen Z. Now, whenever body dysmorphia is brought up, it is usually referring to women because women's self-worth in society is usually centered around their beauty. I don't believe this, of course.
Stop the cap.
I don't define a woman's worth as how attractive she is,
In the film.
Oh god.
Just like that. I believe that.
but no matter how progressive you think society has become, a lot of a woman's value is tied to their beauty. That's why the beauty industry generated over $500 billion worldwide in 2023 and has only been increasing over the years. Men have also been going through body dysmorphia as well recently, more specifically muscle dysmorphia, meaning no matter how much muscle you have, you don't look good enough because you're comparing yourself to people who are the 1% when it comes to genetics and physique. Even the 1% of people who look like Greek gods don't think they look good enough. That's probably one of the worst things about actually getting into fitness, is that the better in shape you get, the worse you think you look. Because you're not comparing yourself to your past self, but to people online who not only look better, but have the ability to make themselves look better with a little bit of Photoshop. Now, body dysmorphia has always been around. If you go back to the 1800s, which for certain groups of people wouldn't be that desirable, when all those women were wearing those dresses that looked like they're trying to smuggle a 72-inch TLC past the Walmart greeter during Black Friday, because having a thin waist back then was what every woman wanted. Shoot, even in the mid 2000s and early 2010s, every girl was trying to look like those Disney stars that looked malnourished. Looking back at it, the reason why they were so thin was because their diet was a balanced breakfast of ketamine and cocaine, though Ozempic before Ozempic. That was before the great shift where thicker equals better. And now, surprisingly, it looks like we're going back to people wanting to look skinny with the rise of Ozempic. It's just very toxic. I think social media has a pretty big part to play in this. It has made everyone more insecure of themselves. When it comes to men and body dysmorphia, a lot of it comes from the fitness industry, especially the social media aspect of it. Before everyone started to admit they were taking anabolics to help obtain their physique over the past few years, a lot of these influencers straight up lied to their young, impressionable audience when it came to muscle building and how they look the way they do. I look like this because I sleep 8 hours a day, wake up at 5 a.m., schedule 4-hour workout sessions, I take my Flintstone gummies, and I eat 3 meals a day consisting of just broccoli and rice. Broccoli and rice for these fitness influencers was like their Dirk fadeaway. Whenever they were accused of taking something, they would pull it out like Yugi summoning the Dark Magician. It was such a weak excuse looking back at it. The reason why a lot of these fitness influencers lied about their PED usage was because they were trying to sell their audience something, usually like a fitness plan, and it's kind of hard to tell your audience that no matter how hard you work out, you have no chance of looking like me because I'm on trend and I have amazing genetics. It's not really a good selling point, or at least I thought. Now, over the last 2 years, a lot of fitness content creators have came out and said they're on something, and it has kind of influenced a lot of young men to also hop on something that if I take this substance that I'll look just like them, without properly maximizing their natural gains or consulting a professional or a doctor. I don't even know what's going on anymore. One thing that I've seen a lot as a young man trying to navigate the treacherous landscape of online dating as a man is just women not looking the same as they do in real life. A lot of that relating to body dysmorphia. I remember the first time I installed and opened Tinder, which was my first mistake. I was absolutely shocked on how many of the women on there altered their self in some way. I think people need to realize something. Whenever you come across a social media post of someone, to put it quite frankly, thirst trapping, man or woman, the picture is most likely altered, whether it be excessive filters, editing of people's bodies, certain angles and lighting. Those pictures aren't authentic. I bring this up because men for some reason have a hard time figuring this out. A woman will post themselves saying in their caption that this is their no makeup look, but they look like a Pennywise cosplay. And the men in the comments will be thirsty saying, "Wow, you look beautiful without makeup," And that's just because a lot of men just don't know what a woman looks like without makeup because they just don't interact with women in the real world. And I understand why women do this, because if they actually posted themselves without makeup on, they would be called ugly. It's kind of like the Pokimane without the makeup meme. Men just don't know what an actual natural human woman looks like because they have spent so much of their time gooning to women who are enhanced like some cyberpunk character. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of a woman's self-worth in society comes from how they look, unfortunately. They suffer greatly from body dysmorphia because of it. I read a study that said 78% of American girls by the time they reach 17 are unhappy with their bodies. And that's not because there's something wrong with them, it's just society expects women to look a certain way. And that in itself is always changing. Ozempic has become crazy popular as a weight loss drug. Even people who aren't overweight are using it to look thinner. It's extremely unhealthy. Like, skinny is back in. What is going on? What happened to the curves? It's just insane to me how normalized all of this is. The editing and filtering on these social media apps. A lot of the times, these apps do it automatically for you. And I fear, especially for the younger generation who don't know any better, that it's going to warp their perception. That if you don't look like perfection, clear smooth skin, chiseled abs, hourglass figure, that you are not normal. Like, I didn't realize how normal stretch marks were on people's bodies until I started talking to people about it. Everything is just making everyone even more insecure of themselves. And the unfortunate reality of all of this is that this is always going to be the case. I'm not going to put a positive spin on this just because I want there to be a happy ending to this video, but it's just going to get worse. Body modifications are just going up, whether it be through things like plastic surgeries or injecting yourself with chemicals or BBLs, etc. The only thing you can do is to stop comparing yourself to other people. That's why most people do the things they do, because they aren't living for themselves, but for other people. Especially on social media where no one truly cares about you. My advice is to compare yourself to your past self. Are you consistently making progress? If you start to stagnate or take steps back, are you still moving forward? Are you getting closer to reaching your goals? That's the most important thing. What do you want for yourself? The only person you're competing against when it comes to your life is yourself. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and adios.